Dr. Aaron Morland here from Valeo Health and Wellness Center here in Eden Prairie. Today we're going to talk to you about your liver. The word itself, I think, is very self-explanatory of how important this organ is. To live, your liver, without your liver you're not going to be able to live. The liver plays a lot of different roles in your body, and it's super important that your liver is working the way it's supposed to. I think most of us know to some degree where our liver is. It just sits on this right side of our body here, sits under our diaphragm, but just under that right lung. And the liver and the gallbladder they work together, and what they do is they help us with a lot of different functions. They play a lot of roles in our health. One of the things that the liver does, I think most of us know about this one, because it gets really impacted by someone dealing with alcoholism, is it detoxifies our body. That's one of the roles of it, probably one of its most important roles. So getting toxins out of our body. It also aids in digestion. If you've heard of your gallbladder, or heard of people getting their gallbladder removed, people having gallstones, what the gallbladder does is release bile, but the liver is where it is produced. It produces the bile, it gets stored in the gallbladder, and then it gets released when we eat fatty foods. So if you've ever heard of someone dealing with a gallbladder attack, eating fatty foods, and then they get pain kind of right under that rib. It may shoot up into that right shoulder, but that's because of the gallbladder. As it contracts, it might have stones in it, or it might be inflamed bile duct. But it helps with digestion. It takes those fats, emulsifies them, surrounds them with bile, so that you can digest them, you can get them across that intestinal barrier. The other thing it does is it actually is where cholesterol is made and where cholesterol is recycled. So it plays a huge role in our cholesterol. And we know that that can play a role in heart disease, so again, a very vital function. We also know that it does help us as we not just digest our food, but it helps metabolize all the fats, the proteins, and the carbohydrates that go into our from our digestive tract into our blood, so it plays a vital role in processing the food that we eat. Another thing that the liver does is it stores your glucose. It stores it in a form called glycogen, but it is the storage form of glucose, and it can store it right in your liver. And so in a minute we're going to talk about why that can become a major problem for some people. It also stores a lot of vitamins and minerals. It also finally regulates our hormones, helps us to get rid of hormones that we've used, and it helps us to convert some of our hormones, like taking our thyroid hormone and converting it into more of its active form. So I'd already mentioned that it can become problematic. Alcoholism can cause cirrhosis of your liver. It can cause the liver to get what we call a fatty liver, where you're basically getting fat infiltrating the liver, and that can cause the liver to stop working. But some of the things that I don't think people really associate with the liver, but can be telltale signs that your liver's not working, are acne or other skin problems like eczema can actually be a sign that your liver's not working the way it's supposed to. Getting red, itchy eyes or itchy skin can be a sign that your liver's not working the way it's supposed to. Or as people age, they'll get these things called liver spots. You'll see them on people's hands and in their face, those dark spots. That can be a sign, again, that your liver's not working the way it's supposed to. Indirectly, measuring someone's cholesterol or their triglycerides, because remember I had mentioned that the liver, what it does is it processes and recycles cholesterol, and so if you've got high cholesterol and you have high triglycerides, that might be because of the liver, and it can be a telltale sign that you're actually developing a fatty liver. One of the things that we're seeing a lot of right now is you're seeing more and more people developing a fatty liver that's not due to alcoholism. And we actually can see that a lot with people that are dealing with blood sugar issues, because you're storing so much blood sugar that the liver has no more space for that blood sugar, so then it converts that sugar into fat and still stores it in the liver, but now you're developing a fatty liver, not because of alcoholism, but because of a blood sugar issue. Other things that can go wrong is that people can develop an intolerance to fats. I had mentioned that you could have a gallbladder attack. You can get this pain, maybe a half hour, 2 hours, somewhere in between there, where people will get really pain because the gallbladder is in distress. And so that's another sign that you could have a problem with your liver. Other thing that can happen is with that same problem is a person may be waking up at the same time every night. Typically it's between that 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. They're waking up, and it's because the gallbladder, what it does is it dumps that bile every night out, or that's what it should do, is it dumps it out. And if you have a problem with that bile duct, or you're dealing with gallstones, when that dump goes on, that can cause pain and the person can wake up. There can be a lot of other reasons why someone will wake up 2 or 3 in the morning, but this one here, it can be the gallbladder. A lot of times people are able to fall back to sleep fairly quickly after that, which can be a sign that it's not a blood sugar issue. Where people with a blood sugar issue waking up 2 or 3 in the morning, they may be up for an hour and a half, and that's because they released a big surge of cortisol that caused them to wake up. So those are some of the things that go wrong with the liver that we know of. Getting your blood tested. You can, many times when you go in for a routine physical, they will do liver enzymes, and so liver enzymes can be another way to determine how well your liver is functioning. And so really key here is that making sure that people are looking at functional ranges, not just pathological ranges, meaning that the pathological ranges for liver dysfunction are pretty wide, and so you can have a problem going on with your liver for quite some time before someone actually tells you that there's a problem, whereas functional, more narrow numbers, that will actually tell you at an earlier stage how well the liver is functioning. So those are the problems that can happen with it. So what do you do about it? What kind of things can you do? One is so that I never even have those problems. What kind of things can I do to make sure that I'm eating the right things so my liver stays healthy? Is there other things that I can be doing that also help my liver to work the way it's supposed to? But definitely our diet plays a huge role. And so one of the things that you want to do then to really decrease the stress on the liver is to make sure that you're not adding a lot of toxins to your body. And so some of that can be making sure you're eating organic foods. Organic foods are going to be lower in toxins, so really important that we decrease that toxic burden that way. Not drinking alcohol, not doing other drugs like medications can really stress our liver. If you've ever had to be on a medication for a long period of time, or know someone that's on a medication for a long period of time, you will see that they have to go in on a regular basis and get their liver enzymes checked, because they can be causing stress on that liver, because the liver has to work so hard to get rid of those toxins. Other things that we can eat that will help take the stress off of our liver is making sure that we're eating a diet that's high in fiber. And a lot of different places we can get that fiber from, but some of the best places for sure is our vegetables. Apples have a lot of fiber, like pectin in them. The cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts, they have a lot of fiber in them, so they can, what that does is it binds up that toxin, so that toxin never gets into our bloodstream. So eating a diet that's high in fiber. Eating a diet that's high in antioxidants, and the reason why this is important is oxidation can cause a lot of stress on the liver itself, but then it can also cause stress on the cholesterol and such, and so really eating that diet high in antioxidants will decrease the level of stress on our liver as well. Foods like garlic can really help support the liver. Foods that are high in selenium, so minerals that are really important to help our liver work the way it's supposed to, one being selenium. So foods that are high in selenium can also be helpful. Increasing foods that are high in B vitamins or green leafy vegetables, those kind of things, those can be really helpful. Meats that have like B12 in them, making sure that we can digest those is going to be helpful for our liver, because our liver utilizes B vitamins to work the way it's supposed to. And then bitter vegetables also help support our liver. And one that I think of that really people don't really think of as a vegetable, but dandelion greens. We look at dandelions as a weed, we try to get rid of them, but they're really powerful. Dandelions are really powerful in being able to detoxify. That's why they're a hard weed to get rid of out of our yard, because they're really good at getting rid of toxins. You can spray a lot of toxin on it, it doesn't cause a whole lot of damage to that weed, and so because of that, it really helps with our liver function. One thing that, one food that I would recommend that people need to be eating more of is one that I grew up, it was not a real common thing that we ate, but definitely you don't see it much now at all that people are eating it, is liver itself. And some of the reasons why people won't eat liver is, one, the taste. It does taste kind of chalky, it's not the greatest taste, but I would say another is, we've been told, and it's probably very true, is that the liver has a lot of toxins in it, because if that animal has been exposed to a lot of toxins, especially if it was raised conventionally, that animal will have a lot of toxins in its liver because of that, and so you really don't want to eat an organ that's filled with toxins. So a really good reason why, if you're going to eat liver, make sure that it's coming from a grass-fed, free-range cow that's not getting exposed to herbicides and pesticides. So eating liver is a really healthy thing for our liver itself, and again, a practice that many people have gotten away from it. People have been doing that for thousands of years. You go to other countries, especially over in Europe, where they're eating more organ meats, you can see that it's really the reason why we're not eating these organ meats is just because we've become a nation where we have so much, we have an abundance, that we just feel like, oh, all we need to do is eat the meat off the animal. And many times, and I've talked to the place where we go get our animals butchered at, that they just throw those organs in the garbage. And so again, a really important thing to eat, can really help your liver to work the way it's supposed to. Other things that I want to mention again is things to avoid. I already mentioned a few things, but other things that can really stress the liver. I had mentioned alcohol already. I had mentioned the herbicides and pesticides that come on non-organic, conventionally grown vegetables and grains and such. So avoid those things. You also want to avoid contaminated water. If you were following in the news over the last few years, an example of that was in Flint, Michigan, high amounts of iron was found in the water, but you can also have contaminated water that's going to have lots of pesticides, herbicides in it. We get that runoff from conventional farms. We can also see that some of the water is contaminated with infectious type of agents like bacteria and parasites and such. So really being careful of drinking filtered water. Now you don't want to drink distilled water, because distilled water is it's got the minerals and everything taken out of it. So if you are going to do distilled water, you need to make sure that you are getting those minerals and such from other places. So more like that spring water or reverse osmosis water, where they're not taking everything out, but getting rid of the contaminants that are in it. So avoiding contaminated water. Eating processed fats is really bad for our liver. Again, our liver processes our fats. We digest through the bile, and so those processed fats can really stress our liver out, so really avoid processed fats. And then finally, you also want to avoid artificial colors and flavors, because again, your body can see it as a toxin, but the liver, knowing that it does detoxify, that can really stress it because it's a hard thing to detoxify those artificial flavors and those artificial colors. And then finally, there's something else that you can do for your liver is there's supplements that a person can take. Again, if a person can eat a really good diet, do the right things for their body, making sure they're drinking lots of the right water, avoiding things that they should avoid, potentially they can get away with just a good diet, but really in this day and age, we really have to be supplementing. And so some of the things that we can supplement with is if we're not getting enough of the right B vitamins, so taking B vitamins can be helpful. Digestive enzymes, what can happen to our body, especially during times of large amount of stress, our digestive enzymes decrease. Things that toxins and things that are like gluten and such can also decrease our digestive enzymes. And so taking digestive enzymes can help because maybe our liver's not functioning at the highest level. Taking that digestive enzyme can help take some of the burden off of the liver. So a person may need to take digestive enzymes. They may need to take it for a short period of time, or some people may need to take it long term because of some of the health issues that they develop. So digestive enzymes can be helpful. Taking in good essential fatty acids. So again, ideally you want to take that in through your diet. You want to be eating foods that are high in those essential fatty acids, like your omega-3s. So wild-caught fish can be helpful. Free-range wild animals can be helpful. Free-range animals like beef and lamb and some of those like even bison, they're going to be high in essential fatty acids. So getting those essential fatty acids can really be helpful because you're not taking in those processed fatty acids that cause damage to the liver. Another supplement that can be really helpful is either taking straight glutathione. Really important that you understand that glutathione is hard to digest, so you got to make sure it's in the what we call a liposomal form, meaning that you can take it in and your body can digest it, not destroy it, okay? Or you can take it the precursor, which would be N-acetylcysteine, and so, or NAC, is another great supplement. And why this is so important is glutathione is a really powerful antioxidant. And again, it takes that stress and it causes the liver to not get damaged, so really important that we're taking in glutathione or taking the precursors so that we can make our own glutathione. You also want to take in selenium. So I'd mentioned that you want to eat foods that are high in selenium, but you could also take a supplement that has selenium in it. I had mentioned dandelion root. Another weed that can be really helpful for our liver is milk thistle. And so these two things that we try to kill in our yards actually have been used for thousands of years as a way to support someone's liver. And you want to, you can take it as a supplement, or you can take it as, like I mentioned, dandelion greens. You can take it in the body, helps the liver to function the way it's supposed to, helps the liver to be able to detoxify. So again, the liver, really important, and one of the things that we're seeing more and more now is people dealing with fatty livers. We're seeing people dealing with livers that are not working the way they're supposed to. They're sluggish, they're not clearing out their hormones, and they're developing all kinds of health issues because of your liver. Remember, the liver, the word itself, to live, is just a really self-explanatory of how important this organ is, how important it is to take care of it, and how it can make a huge impact on your life if that liver is not working the way it's supposed to. Hopefully this information has been helpful, hopefully not too overwhelming to you. Go back, watch the video again, get as much as you can out of it. Understand that taking care of your liver is going to be one of the most critical things that you do for your health. And again, my name is Dr. Aaron Morland from Valeo Health and Wellness Center here in Eden Prairie. If a person is dealing with the liver issue, doesn't know what to do about it, doesn't know, well, what can I do to help myself, that's what we're here for. We want to make these videos to teach people how they can take care of themselves, how they can do the right things for their body. But again, sometimes we need help, and that's why our office exists. We're here to help those people regain their health, help people stay healthy, and help people to have their body work the way it's supposed to. If you haven't already, I highly recommend subscribing to our YouTube channel. Just got to click on the button below, hit subscribe, and watch for our videos. We're always putting out new videos to explain how you can take care of yourself and how you can help your body to work the best it possibly can. Hopefully you're having a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. God bless.